So Rico Charges, guys. So I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna give you guys the summary real fast, and then we're gonna read through it. So Rico, guys, was created in the 1970s to go after the mafia, because the mafia was obviously highly complex, highly organized, and they didn't have a way to go after the top guys that were issuing the hits on the lower level guys. They would catch the lower level guys, but the lower level guys would never snitch because they're like, hey, whatever, it is what it is. So they couldn't charge them as an organization. They could only charge them for the particular crime that they were committing. But what Rico effectively did was said, hey, we're going to charge you guys now as an organization. So if I get together with a couple of my buddies and we decide, you know what, bro, let's start selling drugs. Let's start shooting at people. Let's make our gang lit. Like, we got to do all this shit. Well, if I go out and I shoot somebody, right, and then I come back to the gang hiding spot, and then I get the payment and I give the money to the guys or whatever, we split it up, and then someone, burns the getaway car, someone else lies to the cops, and someone else, supplies us the guns, but I was the only one that did the murder. Guess what? We're all going down for that murder because I committed it in the furtherance of the gang, and they were all involved in the conspiracy to some degree. So what it allowed the FBI to do back in the 70s with the mafia was it allowed them to effectively be able to arrest guys and get them to turn and cooperate. Because it's one thing if I hit you with, like, getting guns from me, but now I'm hitting you with a murder charge as well that he committed. Are you going to go down for a murder charge that someone else committed? Probably not, because you're going to get a lot of time. So what do? You cooperate, and then bam, you flip that guy, and you work your way up the organization. That's essentially how RICO works, and why it was created the way it is, to go after criminal organizations, to basically dismantle them from a total perspective versus just taking down one guy here, one guy there, whatever. You're going after the entire organization. So here we go. And this is from the Department of Justice. It is unlawful for anyone employed by or associated with any enterprise engaged in or the activities of which affect interstate or foreign commerce to conduct or participate directly or indirectly in the conduct of such enterprises' affairs through a pattern of racketeering activity or collection of unlawful debt. 18 U.S.C. in 1962. The Racketeer Influence and Corruption Organization Act, aka RICO, was passed by Congress with the declared purpose of seeking to eradicate organized crime in the United States. And then they cite this case, Russell versus United States. And they just cite a bunch of cases here. A more expansive view holds that in order to be found guilty of violating the RICO statute, the government must prove beyond a reasonable doubt, number one, that an enterprise existed, number two, that the enterprise affected interstate commerce, number three, that the defendant was associated with or employed by the enterprise, and number four, that the defendant engaged in a pattern of racketeering activity, and five, that the defendant conducted or participated in the conduct of the enterprise through that pattern of racketeering activity through the commission of at least two acts of racketeering activity as set forth in the indictment. Do you guys see why O Block is fucked now? They're not coming home, guys. They're not coming home. They're all done, like cooked. Stick a fork in it, man. Now here's the thing, and I've talked about this on other podcasts, but we got a lot of new viewers here, so let me tell you. Let me get a little bit of water, and like the video, I get this water. You know what? Let's define what an enterprise is, and then I'll break this down for y'all. An enterprise is defined as including any individual, partnership, corporation, association, or other legal entity, and any union or group of individuals associated, and in fact, although not a legal entity. Okay. Many courts have noted that Congress mandated a liberal construction of the RICO statute in order to effectuate its remedial purpose by holding that the term enterprise has an expansive statutory definition. Okay, and they're putting the cases here to reference, in case you want to see like what the case law is. And then pattern racketeering activity requires at least two acts of racketeering activity committed within 10 years of each other. Okay, Congress intended a fairly flexible concept of a pattern in mind. All right, and honestly, bro, just committing crimes in furtherance of the gang is enough. Like, they don't need to really. It doesn't have to be that much of a you know what I'm saying? The government must show that the racketeering predicates are related and that they amount to or pose a threat of continued criminal activity. Racketeering predicates are related if they have the same or similar purposes, results, participants, victims, or methods of commission, or otherwise are interrelated by distinguishing characteristics and are not isolated events. Ooh, sounds familiar, doesn't it? Furthermore, the degree in which these factors establish a pattern may depend on the degree of proximity or any similarities in goals or methodology or the number of repetitions. Sounds to me like they've been killing each other for a while, right? They got 10 years of racketeering activity, guys. So, okay, that's enough for that. So, before I break this thing down and we actually read the actual indictment, you guys got to understand that the way RICO cases go is they're extremely difficult to, as you guys know. So, I used to be an agent with Homeland Security Investigations. I've been involved in RICO cases before. And the thing with RICO cases is they're very difficult to get approved. You have to basically go and submit your case to the Department of Justice to get approved as a RICO case. Now, even though it's difficult to make your case a RICO case, the reason why you make your case a RICO case is because a couple of reasons. Number one, you're going to get more resources. Number two, it's going to be made a priority at the U.S. Attorney's Office to prosecute. Number three, you're probably going to get more funding. And then number four, it's going to be easier to prosecute. So you do all the work on the front end, making the case and designate it as a RICO case, so that when you actually do indict these guys, they're fucking done. Okay? Say that one more time for y'all so you understand, because people think RICO cases are easy. No. For the agent, it's very difficult to put a RICO case together. But once you get your case approved as a RICO case, guess what? Now you and your prosecutor you guys are smooth sailing from there, because all you need to establish now is that they're a criminal organization and they're committing crimes to further the criminal organization standing, and there's a pattern of racketeering activity. And right now, what O Block did, killing people, doing all this reckless shit, etc., racketeering activity, baby. The music, they're boosting their level with the music, money, etc. And I will say this too. This was definitely a paid hit. Okay, and I'll talk more about that after. But you don't need much once you get your case designated as a RICO case to prosecute it, because all you need to do now is to establish that they're committing crimes in furtherance of the organization, and then it's done. So let's see what the likes are at right now, and we're going to start reading this criminal complaint. This might be the longest vetted case I've ever done, but we have to go over a decade of crime to get here, so that you guys can see the gravity of what's going on here.